This is Tabletop Weekly, episode 109. We are the partners of Solarian Games. I am Jason.
And as far as I know, when I woke up this morning, I'm Pickle Me Pete.
All right. We got a few stories today for this week. First one, board game veterans launch Best in Play. Arcane Animator is a really cool new thing that you can do with your maps online. 3D color resin printing, it's actually here. It's not just in the $1 million range anymore. And the Society for Creative Anachronism, the SCA, announces their anti-AI policy.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump right in.
Yep. So these guys for Best in Play, they've started these are game creators. They've started their own company, Best in Play, to help other game creators. Yeah, it is. Help other creators make games. So this is tabletop industry veterans Scott Brady, Daryl Andrews, and Jacob Way. Nice. This is a full service agency, so it helps any. I'm assuming if you want to start a gaming company or put out a gaming product, they would help you with just about anything. I mean, there was things that they had listed, but I'm sure they would help you with anything that you needed, as long as you paid for it, I suppose.
I guess so.
Helping bring tabletop games to market. Now, this is really good, I think, in a lot of ways, because there's been a lot of agencies that'll help you advertise, help you fulfill. Mm-hmm. But, for an independent creator or somebody starting up a company, I imagine it's pretty hard getting help from other people on, well, how do I make this game? Because, I mean, you can go to Reddit and you can go all these different places and you're going to get all this advice, and who knows if that advice is any good or not.
Right. Right.
I
mean, it's a lot like anything when you're trying to do something new, especially if it's in a niche kind of a world. You go online and it's like there's forums and they're scattered all over the place, and you get a little advice here, a little advice there. You just don't know whether you're rebuilding a car or you're starting a new career. I mean, it's just you have to kind of assemble it yourself. So it's nice to have somebody that's leading you with a little bit more of a direction.
Yeah. And these aren't just anybody who decided to do this. These are people who have designed games and have products in the market. They're well known.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of their CVs. I don't know if you mentioned some of the different stuff they've done.
No, I have not yet.
Impressive stuff.
Mm-hmm. So they've got so Brady has designed Hues and Cues, which is cool. That's the one that's color coded, like like the different colors. And a game called Bop. Andrews Boop. Oh yeah, I guess
Boop.
That's right. Yeah,
okay, I got to stop here. Boop is one of the best games in the world. It
really?
Just absolutely is. The entire point of the game is you've got a bunch of cats on the bed, and
I get it. All right,
and they're all trying to boop stuff off the bed.
Okay,
it's just great.
And that's your goal. You're playing a cat and you're trying to boop stuff off the bed.
It's just it's so cute. It's so fun.
Nice.
You're just going boop with some cats.
All right. Andrews had co-created Sagrada. What are you laughing at?
I was just watching to see how you were going to pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce it either.
No,
but I just wanted to see how you would do it.
Just waiting for it, right? Sagrada.
We'll just call the whole thing off.
And then he co-designed Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, the game, and Donald Duck in Happy Camper.
Nice.
And Mistwind.
Yeah.
Way co-founded Deepwater Games, publisher of Monstrosity.
Monstrosity.
Yeah, because the draw is like all caps.
You draw the monsters. Monstrosity.
But it was before it became Friendly Skeleton.
Because they knew that you were going to have to pronounce it.
Yeah, probably.
honestly, that says a lot for him right there, that he knows how to pivot when branding needs a little bit of help. Because one of the important things about a name is that you be able to say it to somebody on the phone and they know what the heck you just said.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So then, so they will work with designers, publishers, IP holders, and they'll help with things like IP matchmaking, designer representation, publisher submissions, crowdfunding strategy, and even temporary executive leadership. Now that I found interesting. Let's say you're a game designer, right? Because I found even in the industries I work in, like in engineering, you can be really good at a job, right? You mean you could be
Hmm.
the best engineer in the world, and then you could start your own business doing engineering, and it could tank because you're a terrible business person,
Right,
right?
right, and that often
Sometimes,
actually is the case
yeah, oh
when an
yeah,
engineer tries to start a company on their own.
oh, yeah, it's not uncommon at all.
Yeah. Which I
So
always think is fun when you look at how many engineers like to make fun of the suits. Oh, what do
yeah,
they do? Well, for
right.
one thing, they keep you from going out of business.
Right, that's true. That is absolutely true. And the same can be said for any profession. And game designers, I mean,
Yeah.
I've met several game designers who were, great game designers, but they struggle with the business end of it.
Well, we were
Um,
just talking about this the other week when you were out, when
mhm.
Hambone was co-hosting, because we talked about Wolfenstein,
Okay, yeah,
the
yeah.
first, I mean, one of the first great computer games that has now
Hmm.
become this huge, uh, what is the word for it when
IP
yeah, the other word when people say like Star Wars franchise almost,
franchise.
right?
Okay, yeah.
But anyways, the guy who started Wolfenstein, he was one of the greatest programmers of his age and one of the
Right.
smartest engineers and everything else. And the company went bankrupt, and somebody else bought the name for pennies because he just didn't know how to run the company, which is a shame
That's a
because
shame.
he's a wonderful man.
It's a shame.
But
Yeah, I mean, if you think about Wolfenstein 3D, and you guys probably talked about this last week,
mhm.
but like he was the first one to do a 3D first person shooter, right? I mean, Wolfenstein 3D
Sort of, yeah.
wasn't it?
So the original Wolfenstein, which was Silas Warner, who created
Right.
not the 3D one, but the top-down one
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
could play on the Apple II, he's the one that was unfortunately not good at business. And then
Oh, okay.
John Romero and oh gosh, I forgot the other person's name who started ID Software. They had made a 3D first-person shooter before that, but
Hmm.
it didn't do well. And so Wolfenstein was the first one that actually kind of succeeded.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But they did great. They did great.
So these guys, they can help you out with that. Even they can help you, And I like the fact that it's like temporary executive leadership. So that what they would do is probably get your business model going, get you started, and then when you're ready to hand it, ready for the handover, that's what they would do.
Yeah. I mean, that's not an unusual thing that they're doing in the tech world and the business world. There, you often get what's called a fractional CEO or a
Hmm.
fractional CFO or a fractional COO, which just basically means right now we don't have that kind of executive leadership we need. We can't afford or we don't have time to hire one or whatever. We need somebody to come in and sort of be that adult supervision in the room until we're able to get up to speed and ready to have our own.
Right. Right.
Because a
And
founder is
maybe
not a CEO. I mean, if you start a company, that's great, but that doesn't mean that you're necessarily have the same skills that it takes to successfully run a company.
right. And then once you see it being done and you see how they're doing it, maybe you could rise to that, or maybe you hire somebody to do that.
Yeah, you basically, like you said, you see them doing it, and then you might look at it and go, "Ooh, I did not know it was that hard,"
Hmm.
Or you might look at it and go, "I can do it too."
Yeah.
But either way, if you're taking your business seriously as a tabletop game creator, that is a point you're going to maybe get to.
Yeah, especially. I mean, I would imagine a good example of where this would come in really, really well would be, let's say you're a great game designer. You've designed this really cool game. You run this successful Kickstarter. You made $1 million. Let's say
Sure,
you're
it
Shadow Dark,
happens.
right? Right. And you're like, uh-oh, what do I do now? Now I have this big company, and I wasn't expecting to run a big company.
Right.
You could hire these guys. Say, hey, look, get me started. Help me get going. I got the money
Mhm.
to pay someone to help me get going, and then they could, and that would be fantastic.
Or let's say you're a more established company and you want to get into this. Like
Yeah.
you're a toy company and you've decided that rather
Ah,
than licensing out your toy brand to somebody else, you want to do it in house, but you don't
right.
have the expertise. This could
Sure.
get you started.
Awesome. Awesome. And I wonder, they didn't say anything in here about this, but I wonder if they do any kind of like, like, hey, I'm going to launch a Kickstarter. Can I pay you with Kickstarter money? I wonder if they do anything like that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think if
I
they
don't know
were
if
going
that's
to
a good
do it, you'd
business
have to
model.
have one heck of a good Kickstarter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, because
Of
that's
course.
the thing is anytime you're trying to pay somebody in future possibilities, whether it's an artist or a business person or whatever, what they're basically saying is, I'm giving you this value of my time. I'm giving up other opportunities. So prove to me that you're going to succeed.
Right, right. But I mean, they're good game designers, so
They
Maybe
would know.
they would see it and go, yeah, this is going to do well. Sure, we'll work a deal. I'm not saying they will. I don't know if they will. I'm just
No,
saying.
no, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah. Anyway, so they've already landed a major consulting client, providing senior level game industry leadership for an unnamed U.S. creator brand merchandising and e-commerce
They
company
should get a name.
while it searches for a permanent head of games.
Okay.
They are also developing a tabletop game based on an unnamed, again, another unnamed. These guys are not good at names right now. A major video game IP with plans to launch the project through crowdfunding in early 2027.
So they're
If,
doing their own to
yeah,
prove that they can pull it off as a group. Okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
sure.
I mean, if this was not a bunch of people who have great CVs behind them, it would sound kind of, woo woo. But
Yeah,
every one of the people involved here has proven themselves, and so it's actually worth paying attention to.
yeah. Be careful. There might be a another company like this called Whitman Enterprises. Avoid that one. That's a joke, folks. Anyway, the you can find them at bestinplay.com, or you can email them info@bestinplay.com, because I know we've got people who watch this show who might want to design a game.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. All right. So, what do we got here next? We're going to talk about a thing called Arcane Animator next. And I'm just pulling up the site here so that I can kind of talk about it as I look at it. So, Arcane Animator is something very, very new. I've found out about this through a few different gaming forums where the creator had been posting it. And when he first mentioned it, I thought this is going to be something really janky and small and not that good because he's just come up with it. But then I looked at it and I thought, this feels mature and together and great. And I have to say, my first thought when he said, I've built something that's going to let you bring your maps to life, I thought, oh no, somebody's made an AI tool that's going to make your map go woogie, 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 and the trees will walk across the board. It's
Right.
not that at all. It's way more handcrafted, way more cool. As far as I can tell, it's not AI. So what you do with this is you've got your maps and you're going to use them online in your VTT, your virtual tabletop, or maybe you're even going to use it in person. A lot of people like to bring screens to an in-person game and show the map
Mhm.
there. And you're going to be looking at a static map unless you yourself are some kind of an animator with all these skills, which most people are not. And even if you are, do you have the time to do a lot of things to it? So what this does, the screenshot we have up here, I just kind of grabbed it while I was in the process of making one, so you can kind of see how it works. I grabbed a map from Incarnate, which is a really good online map maker. And what you're looking at here is just a typical battle map. So you see sort of a ruined keep and some battle has happened and there's some water and things like that. And then over on the left-hand side, you have all these layers of effects. So I went in and I grabbed something from, I think it was Ice and Frost. No, it was Air and Weather. So I grabbed something from Air and Weather, and there was a thing to show wind whipping across the plain. So it puts little nice animated wind lines. And
Mhm.
then in the Earth and Stone, there was a section called Trap Rune or something. I can't quite read what it says now. But basically, if you wanted to show after a trap had been set off, or if somebody was searching for traps and you wanted to have a nice little animation to show them here's where the trap is, something you can drop on there. Any of the effects you could drop on the map, you can set them wherever you want. You can cover the whole map. You can cover just a section. You can make little areas that are no-go zones. You could say, like, let's say you're doing an animation of some water. Like you wanted to make the water ripple and move and have waves. You don't want that to go on the land, so you block out certain areas that it's not allowed to go, for example.
Okay. That's cool.
And tons of cool stuff here. So they have, I'll just go down the list of different sections of groups of things they have. They have light sprites, and that includes all kinds of just little sprites you can put around, like torch flames, torch lights, campfire, lanterns, glowing orbs, all kinds of, there must be 20 things in there. And they're just
Mhm.
little sprites you kind of place around the map. There's light procedural, so you can actually have some of these kind of move around and have some life to them. fire sprites, water sprites, again, things like the waves going or an underground stream. Ice and frost has you can put snow, you can put blizzards. In earth and stone, we've got dust motes and trap warnings and spider webs growing. That's kind of fun. All
Hmm.
kinds of different weather you can put on this, from blizzards to smoke to lightning. There's lots of different nature, leaves floating around. Basically, anything you can think of that would happen, you can lay it over your map, and it's all really beautifully animated, and it's all just going to act as sort of I guess you call it an alpha channel, just like a clear layer
Yep.
over the top of your map. And then you get a lot of other things, magic effects, even necrotic effects, which is kind of cool. You can have some soul spirits and ghosts going across. It's just a ton of stuff, really easy to use. You just drop them on, and then of course you have a whole ton of effects that you can put. Are not effects isn't the right word for it. Controls you can do on it. So once you put your different animations on it. Over on the right hand side, you get the layers, so kind of like Photoshop, you have different layers. You can set the size and the width and everything and the position numerically. You can make it just fit the sandwich, the canvas. I haven't eaten dinner yet. Rotate it, change the speed, change the intensity. I mean, just any number of things. Incredibly powerful. And it's all just sitting there in the browser. Really easy to do. You can save it, you can export it for other things. It's just a really fun tool that I think it's brand new. I think people would like to give it a try. So it's arcaneanimator.com, I believe. Let me see if I'm right about that. Was I right about
Yes,
that?
that's correct.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right
Whew.
now. And what's
Arcaneanimator.com.
is there a cost? Is this free? Is there a cost? What's the setup for this?
I haven't seen any place to give him money at this point. I think
Mhm.
right now he's just building it and saying, give it a try, see if you like it.
Okay.
I think it looks like a ton of work has gone into this.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say this can't be free, right? I mean, is it
well, I
free?
think right now it's kind of like, hey, I made it. Why don't you try it out? If people really start digging this, I'm sure that he's going to have to monetize it somehow. And I'd be
Yeah.
happy to pay for this, if it really
Yeah.
works as well as I've only played with it a little bit, but but it's worked great, and if it really does hold up, yeah, I would rather pay once to use it rather than every
Yeah.
month. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd pay something for this.
Sure.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
so they do have a Discord. If you go to their site, there's a link to their Discord so you can go and talk to the developer and other people that are using it and, see what you think.
Yeah.
So
All
fun
right.
stuff. And, you don't have to put fantasy maps into it. You can put anything you want. It's just going to overlay things on an image. So you could
Right.
get really creative with it.
Sure. Sure.
All right.
All right. Next up, 3D color 3D printing or resin color resin 3D printing is here.
I have so
Um.
many questions. I'm glad we're doing this one because I don't know a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So
That's what you're doing here. Be smart.
sure.
Be
Yes.
smart, Peter.
Eh.
Be
So
smart.
I did some digging. I've done 3D resin printing, a bunch of it. I work the organization I work for. We have a whole 3D printing lab, and I talk to those guys, and I've had them print stuff for me before, so I do know a little bit about it.
Well, explain for me right at the beginning
Mhm.
why that's special because I think 3D printing's been around long enough that most people have a basic idea of what's going on,
Mhm.
but don't really understand why is it black and white or whatever. Why is it one color and what would it take for it to be? I mean, just why is
Sure.
that a big deal?
Yeah, yeah. So you got the wire printers, right? That use like basically like the your plastic wire feed. Now they can be color, but it's not usually like a mixed color because each wire has its own color. So you can kind of print a layer at a time of color.
So
And
these are
so
the ones that kind of lay down the little. You see the
yeah,
striations, and they
yep,
lay. So they lay down a wire of plastic that gets melted or
melted.
something,
Yes, yes. It
and then
melts
makes
it
the
at the
layer.
source and it just makes a layer. Now
So
they've
you can have
gotten
different colored wires going in.
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, there's a couple things that limit that because you can't mix the colors together, so you get the colors you get.
Okay.
It takes a while when you 3D print colors with those because they have to switch colors. So as it runs a layer, then it has to switch the color and run that as a layer. And if two different colors are on the same layer, which is it's common, because different parts of it would be different colors. Then it'll do
Mm-hmm.
one part, then it'll come back and switch the color and do the other part. Now it doesn't like go back to something and get the color and then come back. It doesn't do that. The colors are all being fed in at the same time. It just has to switch heads. And
Yeah.
I don't have one of those, so I'm not exactly sure what that requires, but I do know it takes longer.
It
Um,
does sound awkward, and no matter what, it's not going to look like you painted it.
yeah, that's correct. And they are pretty refined. Like my friend Harold and I are working on something for More Blood, and he was showing me stuff coming out of his bamboo printer, which is one of those types, and the striations are getting really minimal. I mean, you wouldn't really want to print a figure like a miniature with it, but printing terrain, it's actually good enough for that now. It's actually
Okay.
that refined.
That's
Um,
because when you're painting a mini, you've got a lot of little things like you have
it's a lot of little bins and stuff like that. It's just
yeah.
you get striations. It's
Yeah.
you're gonna
Plus,
notice
with a
that.
mini, I mean, when you're painting minis and trying to get that really realistic look, you're using a lot of different techniques like washes
Yeah.
and all that
And
and
those
dry
striations would
brushing and
mess would absolutely mess with washes and dry brushing, I would think.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
terrain, like you said, it's a little bit less. If you see a mountain and you see some grass on it, you see some trees. Okay, cool, that's a mountain. I get it.
yeah. Now the resin printing, which is what I've been doing a lot of, it's basically it's like your cell phone. So I mean, it's basically a cell phone, right? I mean, that's pretty
Hmm.
much what it is. Um,
Yeah, I
screen
remember there was even a
screen wise,
Kickstarter back in the day for one that you could turn your cell phone into a resin printer.
right, right. Because all it's
Don't know,
doing
don't
is
know how
it's
well it
just
worked, but
no. So it's taking it's essentially taking a UV picture of every layer, and
hmm
that UV picture actually causes the resin to solidify at that layer. You know, this micro like a partial millimeter, like I don't know how thin it is, but it's like a decimal of a
yeah,
millimeter
yeah,
layer. And the reason why they're black and white, I mean, I'm gonna say black and white, you know, it's whatever color resin you put in there,
single color, yeah,
single color, yeah, is because
monochromatic.
right, it's because it's the color of your resin. It's because the
Hmm.
light is just solidifying the resin, so that's it. So you only get one color. Now this is doing something new.
The color 3D
Instead of
printing is new.
yeah, the color 3D printing is doing something new. So it's using it's almost like an inkjet. It's actually spraying in these tiny microscopic bits of resin
Hmm.
that are all different colors and then hardening them as they go on. So it
That
can
does
actually
sound like an
mix
inkjet.
it. Yeah, yeah. It's pretty much a 3D inkjet printer. Now, it's not being called a resin printer. It's being called a UV printer, and but it does use resin. I think they're calling it a UV printer just to designate that it's that process is different than the resin
Sure,
printer.
sure.
And so when the mixtures go together, you can form the 10 million. You see on here is like 10 million plus colors, just like an inkjet.
Hmm.
Um, Now they have
So
those
it's.
already.
Well, I want to stop you there to
Yeah,
make sure I
yeah, yeah.
understand it. So it's got different print heads basically that are shooting out the resin, right?
No, it's yeah. I mean, kind of. It's got like one flat print head, like much like a inkjet does, but it's got tiny little ports on it.
That's, I guess, what I meant was it has
Yeah, yeah,
multiple
yes,
ports. I should have said it
yeah,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
So you've got these different little ports, and they're each shooting out. So in an inkjet printer, you would have four little ports, I guess, for the four different CMYK colors of ink.
Right.
And does this then have four little CMYK for the colors of resin, and they come out liquid and they dry together?
I mean, close. It's more than four here. I'm gonna show you this next picture here. If you're looking on screen, you're gonna see the four colors here. They got
Well,
cyan.
there's CMYK. Yeah.
Right. There is. What you can't see in the picture, because I couldn't capture all of it, because I was capturing this from a video. There's actually like 8 of them in here. So I think you've got like a
Okay.
light cyan and a dark cyan, but it's essentially the same
And
thing.
some printers do that too. So that they're
Yeah.
just basically saying we want to get a lot more richness to the colors. Or maybe they don't blend the same way inks do, so they need the more versions
Yeah.
of it. Okay.
Yeah.
But those
Probably.
things that we see there, so in these pictures that you've put up, you have some how it came out, but then you also have a picture of the ink cartridges or whatever,
Hmm.
and you see the cyan, magenta, yellow, and black
Right.
CMYK, and I'm assuming
Oh,
that's liquid resin in those.
it is. It is. And there's also a clear one. So there's also clear because you sometimes want to print clear as well.
Okay.
And then
Oh, literally clear, like you can print
literally
out,
clear,
like if you
like
wanted to
glass.
make something look like it was flying, you could put a little clear stand under it.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. And then see, I came back here
that's
because
cool.
I just want to say, oh no, we're done. We're done with the slide. We can go to the next one. Anyway, so here's some stuff that's interesting. So I thought this was brand new. Like I'd never seen these before. But I was talking to somebody at work the other day and they said, "Oh no, this is a thing. It's already a thing in industry." So yeah, it is, except those machines cost between $40,000 and $250,000.
Right, because when I looked it up in the past, I saw, oh, there's color printing, no problem. It'll be $180,000 for a printer. And
Yeah,
I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. This is for industrial big time use. It's not
right.
for the guy in his garage unless that guy is a billionaire.
And so this is now for the home market because the price is way cheaper. So there's a Kickstarter right now for this Hay Gears, and it was the G1 series, and I did a little digging because I thought they were all just 3D. I thought it was one printer, but it's actually two. There's two different ones. There's the G1 and the G1X.
From
So
the
the
same
G
company.
same company, yeah, yeah, and it's the
Okay,
same
and
Kickstarter and
this is
everything.
an established company that's made other stuff
Yeah,
before?
yes,
Okay.
they've been in business for about 11 years.
Okay. Okay.
And
So,
I had never heard of Hay Gears either, but that's mainly because they've been in more so in the corporate or industrial world because they do a lot of medical, and I don't know if you know this, but dentists are now using 3D
oh
printing
yeah, no,
quite a lot. Yeah,
I've seen my dentist do, when he did a filling for me, he did a 3D printed
yeah.
thing. I was
Is
amazed.
it,
I got to tell you, if you ever want to know who makes a good dentist, find somebody who's a really good sculptor or miniature maker because it's
yeah,
so similar. You have to be an artist to be a dentist.
yeah, absolutely. And so he probably has a Hay Gears printer. That's probably what he's using. I be
That's
willing to
probably
bet.
why one of, come to think of it, one of the more popular ways of making your own home terrain is there's a kit that uses dental cement for making terrain.
Well, that might make sense. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, because actually I was watching a video on this one time and they were showing how they make teeth and how they color them and everything, and like
Yeah.
the dentist actually paints in coloring into your tooth, so it's not like
Yeah,
you got
that's
this
a big thing. They got to
friggin'
match.
white tooth in your mouth that would stick out.
Yeah, because like if you, because nobody, well, some people have perfectly white teeth, but the average normal human being who doesn't spend $20,000 a month on their teeth
Right.
has some different shade, and everybody's shade is unique.
Yeah.
So,
And they even grade, they change color as they go up some, for
yeah,
most teeth.
yeah.
So, so the G1 is a 2D and a 2.5D printer. So this thing
Okay,
can
so
actually
that's
print
kind of
on
what we're
like,
seeing in the bottom right is the 2.5D.
yeah, and the top right is the 2D. So it
Yeah.
can print like on, it can print on like a piece of metal. It can print on a T-shirt. Like you can print T-shirts with this thing. And
Interesting. So, because
yeah,
normally you would use like dye sublimation or
yeah,
screen
sure.
printing or something. And
Mhm.
so this is a little weird to hear somebody talking about doing 2D, 3D printing, but I guess because it's not, they're not calling it that. They're calling it UV printing.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And the 2.5D it's like just a little bit of an extra layer of stuff so that you can have some texture to
Extrusions.
something. And that's been around for a while too. So
Hmm.
that's not exactly new. And then the G1X is the big one here, and that's the 3D printing, as you can see up in the upper left hand, the dragon printed there. Look at the color on that.
There's so much subtlety
Looks
to
like
it.
it's great. It looks like it was professionally painted.
Yeah. Now, I will say it looks not super saturated. Looks,
No,
I wonder if that was an artistic choice in this case or if that's the limitations of the printer.
that might be the limitations. I mean, this is still kind of early. Maybe they'll get to where they can have richer colors and stuff like that.
Well, it makes
But
me think of what's happening in e-ink screens. So, uh, your Kindle is an e-ink screen. I don't know, e-ink
Mhm,
versus e-paper. There's some definition between the two of them. I don't care. But
mhm,
they've been black and white for so long, and finally they've got color ones that are available. And that's great, but the color is not the kind of color you're going to get on a normal laptop screen. It's not that bright. And so
right,
maybe they're still at that stage with the three, even though a completely different technology
right.
might still be at that stage.
But nothing would stop you from coming back and hitting this with a wash and a dry brush,
Yeah,
you
that's a
know,
great point.
and like blow it up, glow it up as they say.
Yeah,
Now
judge it up.
you're right. The
Get a little
2D and
zhuzh.
2.5D version is $2,000 right now.
Okay.
and the 3D printing one is 3,400.
Which
Now
is shockingly reasonable.
yeah, and you know it's going to drop in the next couple of years, right? It's going
Oh,
to,
because I remember what 3D printers just themselves started out as.
yeah. Now you
I
can get a
mean,
really
this
good
this
one for
makes
like $400.
it just makes me think of so many precedents in the tech world for things like this that have happened before, and to me, scanners are the best precedent for
Oh
this
yeah,
because
dude, scanners used to be so expensive.
yeah, for those of us that are old enough to remember when a scanner was an exciting new technology that you could actually
Hmm.
take a picture and digitize it. At the beginning, there were some home scanners you could use, but they were crap. You know, that
Hmm.
you couldn't use them for anything professional. And when I was publishing magazines in the early 90s, and if we wanted something scanned properly, we went in to what was called the service bureau, and they had these huge expensive drum scanners that cost six figures to buy. I mean, these are like $100,000 scanners. And so every time I wanted to get a photograph scanned, I would give it to them, literally pay them $50 or $60 per scan to get what I needed back. And then 10 years later, all the service bureaus were out of business because a $500 desktop machine could do the same thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so it's the same
and now
thing
your
here.
phone does it all.
Right? No, I do use my phone for scanning at that level. And so here you've got these big, like you said, $100,000, $200,000 machines in very serious industrial usage. And now here's one for 3,500.
Right.
And 5 years from now, you're gonna get one free with a subscription to your favorite TikToker.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the interesting part. I'm going to have to explain the relevance of this. The build plate, so that's your plate that you can build at the size of the model that you can build is 16 inches by 23 inches by 5 inches. That's a
That's
big
big.
damn. That's a big build plate for a 3D printer.
Wow. Okay, so if you were
Yeah,
getting a regular resin printer that could not do all this 3D stuff and you wanted a build plate that big, you'd still be paying a
big.
bit.
You pay at least a you. Let me
Couple
think.
thousand
That's
maybe?
the Jupiter. Yeah, you'd still be paying about $1,500 to $2,000 for something like that.
So I
So
mean if you're
this
going to
is
be
reasonable
making
as hell.
yeah, if you're making a $2,000 investment in a 3D printer, you might as well wait an extra 2 or 3 months and save up the money to get this other one.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
should. Don't I mean you could always just finance it or something, but the fact is that if you finance it, then 3 months later they've improved it and they've made a new model. So
Right. You're like, damn it. All right.
yeah.
So one last thing, I did a little digging on this. This took me a little bit, but the printing costs are comparable to standard resin printing right now. So
That's crazy.
the machine is more, but the actual cost to print a piece is pretty much the same as any resin printer right now.
So for gamers, okay, you've got to field a Blood Bowl team for next week, and you can't bring them unless they're painted. Well, here you go. They're already, prove they're not painted. They look like they're colored, right?
Yeah.
Or you've got, when I think about what it takes to put together an entire army for a war game, you know,
Yeah.
or just anything. I mean, there's obviously no limit to the amount of amazing stuff you can come up with for this. But for gamers, this is almost as big of a shift as just getting 3D printing in the first place was. Not
Yeah.
as big. I think the only things that would be nothing is going to be as big as the fact that 3D printing began to exist in the first place. I mean,
Right.
oh my gosh. But the only things I can think of that would be as big of a deal as this is if suddenly it was cheap to print metal at home or something.
Yeah. 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 And you can 3D print metal, just not cheap.
Right. No, I mean, there's a lot of automakers do that. And,
Yeah.
you hear people say, well, 3D printing, and you think of the stuff that you see at the craft fair where somebody's made a bunch of, silly looking little toys.
Hmm.
But you go and you get car parts for classic cars, they have to have pretty high tolerances or whatever the
Yeah.
engineering word is for that.
That's right. No, that's the word. Tolerances. Yep.
I thought, yeah, but the point is, these things have to operate under some extreme situations, so
Hmm.
they're not a joke, And
And
so,
the materials keep getting better and better and better all the time. I saw a guy who had done a manifold on an engine. He 3D
mhm.
printed it and the material he used, the plastic
An
ish
intake
material.
manifold,
No,
exhaust manifold.
exhaust manifold. So
Okay.
it had to handle a lot of heat and vibration,
Yeah.
and normal 3D printing materials, none of them could handle that. But
No.
apparently, this is a high performance material. So, and this was like a year and a half ago.
Hmm.
So they come out with new materials all the time. So, dude, it's not going to be long before. When I say not long, I mean I think within the decade, where you're going to see 3D printing is going to be in almost every home, and people are going to just print replacement pieces and parts and stuff out for things on their home
Well,
3D
see, now
printer.
we just need the right to repair movement to be
Yeah,
robust enough, because now we
yeah.
got a battle between the companies that don't want you touching the things you own and
Hmm.
the companies that want to make it easy for you.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
yeah. Because I can see now. I can really see your dryer repairman shows up, and it's
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, yeah, you got this bracket. Can I see your 3D printer real quick?
Yeah,
And
because
he
that
pulls up
that is
his phone
such
and
a
he
big
goes,
deal.
dude, and he goes, all right, I'll be back in 15 minutes to get that part. I'm gonna go grab a soda real quick,
Yeah,
and then I'll put it on.
yeah. I mean, cars too. There's a lot of new car companies that are showing up that don't have dealer networks because they're small startups. So you need to be able to repair them more easily, where you are. So anyway,
Mhm.
I'm getting way off track for a gaming
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
podcast, but
Anyway,
exciting as heck.
so that's it for this story. It's good. Check it out. It's Hey Gears. It's on Kickstarter now.
Hey
You
Gears,
know,
like HEY.
yeah, HEYGEARS.
All right, hey Gears.
Hey Gears. All right.
Sounds like something you would say to a buddy who was a robot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My buddy Gears. Right. All right.
Hey
Cool.
Gears.
Awesome. All
Wait, did
right.
you say Gears with a hard R?
Oh, easy.
All right, moving to the next story, and this is our last story of the night before we wrap
It,
up. It is. All right,
yes.
saving the best for last, or at least the fun for last.
Yes.
So the SCA, that's the Society for Creative Anachronism. If you don't know about them, check them out. They're so cool. We're going to talk a little bit about what they do. I'll give just a brief overview at the beginning. So the SCA has been around longer than most nerds that you know.
Mm-hmm.
They were founded back in 1966 in what I would consider sort of the golden era for nerddom.
Mm-hmm.
A time before when wargaming was a thing. Weird nerds had found out that computers existed, but nobody else knew. Model trains were the big deal. And getting into history and wargaming as a hobby was definitely a niche kind of a world. D&D was still almost a decade away. So they were founded as I think it was Berkeley, at just like a party or something, as kind of just a fun thing to talk about medieval reenacting. And I guess you kind of have to put yourself into the world of 1966.
Mm-hmm.
It's a world that's got one foot in this traditional past. The people who fought in World War II are still young. The Vietnam War is starting to draft people, and the resistance movement to that, because hey, I'm young and don't want to go, is a pretty good reason to have a resistance movement, is getting going. Psychedelic drugs are showing up. Music is changing. The whole world is just topsy turvy. This book that came out a long time ago is finally starting to get noticed, called Lord of the Rings,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this sudden confluence of all these different nerdy things that are coming together and starting to form a nerd culture for the first time in history, that one that we would describe today, as what we see as a nerd culture. And so out of that comes this group called the Society for Creative Anachronism. It's fun, right? They never claimed to be historically accurate, but they kind of make attempts towards it. We'll talk more
Well,
about what they kind of do today.
a
Yeah.
little bit. I mean, there is some historical accuracy to it. So if you, because I've been to quite not a lot, but I've been to I don't know, like 5 or 6 of these events,
Yeah.
and you have to wear period clothing. You have to, if you go
Yeah.
in, if you fight, because not everybody fights. Everybody thinks, oh yeah, we'll go out there and swing swords at each other. There's a whole group of people who go to these things that don't fight at all. They're like merchants. They just like camping out and hanging out. Um, and but if you wear armor or bring a weapon, you have, there's very strict guidelines. Your armor
Yeah,
has
you're
to
not
be
showing up with
accurate.
a lightsaber.
Right. Well, you're also
And,
not
and
making
or
it. you're not making plate mail out of rubber tires. You know,
Right,
it has to
yeah.
be plate mail.
It's weird because it's somewhere in between all these different things. So in the universe that they occupy, on one hub you've got the Ren Fair. On another
Hmm.
side you've got people like HEMA, the historical European martial arts groups, who are
Yep.
really historically accurate.
Yes.
Then over here you've got LARPers who don't worry about historical accuracy at all, but want to hit each other with swords, and a host of other stuff. You know, you could
Yeah,
all put
there's
around that.
another one that's like a CA, but they actually have magic. They have like, you can actually throw like foam balls at people, and that's
Oh,
like a
that's great.
fireball.
What are
Yeah,
they
yeah.
called? Do you know?
I can't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue. I've never played with them, but I know they exist.
That sounds fun. And then I guess in that broad universe of weirdos is the actual historical reenactors. You know, the people who
Hmm.
do Civil War reenactment or American Revolution or even World War II reenactment, which if you watch Peep Show can really, you know how that can go wrong.
Right.
And so these guys are not reenactors. They're not to that level of historical accuracy where they try to sleep on uh, medieval pallets of straw and things like that. But like you said, they
Some
do.
do. Some do.
Okay, well then maybe there you go. So the point is, it's a huge thing. They have events all the time. There's major like what they call inter-kingdom events. So the
Mhm.
big one is the Pensic War, and isn't that the one you went to?
I've been to the Pensic War a couple times. Yeah.
And you've told me before it was just massive, right?
It's humongous, unbelievably huge. Like thousands of people there.
Yeah, I saw it had well over 10,000 at least,
Oh yeah.
right? I
Well, I mean,
mean,
I guess now when I went there, it was
oh
probably
yeah,
like 4 or 5 thousand.
yeah. So they've got the Pensic War. They also have Gulf Wars, War of the Lilies, Great Western War, War of the Phoenix, double wars in Sweden, and then every kingdom. So there's different, SCA kingdoms. So then they have their own crown tournaments and
Hmm.
coronations, investitures. It's a whole thing. I'm I feel myself drawn towards it. I haven't ever done it yet, but oh, doesn't it feel great? I wish I had the time.
You could, I
Maybe I
mean,
will.
if you ever wanted to go, again, you don't have to get into all the fighting and stuff. You get yourself an outfit. You
Right.
know, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can just go and set up a tent because you have to stay in a tent. You can
Yeah.
go and set up a tent and just enjoy it for it goes for a whole week. You don't have to go the whole week. We've always gone like a long weekend.
Yeah.
But you could just go and stay a couple days there, set up a tent, you can build a fire, outside of your tent and stuff. And at night it's really cool because you can wander around and a lot of people throw like these parties
Hmm.
and almost everybody we encountered, if you walk by and they're like, "Hey, you want to join us?" Very
Yeah.
friendly folks. It's a
Because
lot
you're
of
at the
fun.
thing together. I mean,
Yeah, it's a
by
lot
the
of fun.
very fact that you're all at the thing and you've dressed appropriately and you've done
Yeah.
whatever, you're kind of in the tribe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good time.
I love a structured event. If I could
Hmm.
spend all my life at conventions and events and things like this, I would.
Yeah.
So absolutely love this. And so the thing about the SCA, because it's been around for 60 years now, is it's all about human creativity. And there's more to just being creative than thinking of an idea. It's doing the thing. It's making the outfit. It's doing all these other kind of things. And so naturally, the question of generative AI has arisen. Not necessarily. I mean, nobody's making an AI outfit, but
Yeah, I was
but
going to
but
ask you what is this about? Like
but
what
other
would you
things have
do
come
AI?
in. Well,
Okay.
okay, so there's a lot of different kind of output in terms of like how you promote your events, how you show things afterwards,
Mhm.
how you create material that goes with them, and so the SCA has come out with a stated policy. And it's probably important because one of the things about the SCA is that the age groups are 100% all over the map. From the very youngest people that could show up to something like this in their teens to folks who probably were there in 1966.
Yeah.
And the thing that I've noticed about generative AI, and I always try to say generative AI, not just AI, but generative AI, which is I'm going to have a computer make a picture for me or write a thing for me,
Hmm.
is the people who are most enthusiastic about it often are the people who have the least understanding of what a computer is and can do and what creative artists and writers actually have to do. And
Hmm.
so they just see the output. And I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm just saying somebody who only sees the output, who reads a book and doesn't know what it takes to write a book, who sees a picture and doesn't know what it takes to paint a painting.
Hmm.
They just look at the output and go, either I like it or I don't.
Hmm.
And also to folks who think a computer is just this black box that can just do computer, they don't really think about the difference. It's just a tool to them. And so as a result, you do get a lot of folks who are in, shall we say, more advanced age of generations
Hmm.
who get a little too excited about this stuff. And so naturally, they were starting to see some things show up. So I'm going to just read a little bit from what they did. This is from the SCA. These are their words. They have now got a policy on generative artificial intelligence. So note they said generative AI. That doesn't mean the kind of AI that does nice drudgery in the background and just helps you organize your calendar or something. And from their words, to ensure authenticity, originality, and integrity in creative and scholarly works, creations, products, or outputs associated with the SCA. This policy outlines the rules for use of generative AI. Number one, the use of generative AI art tools to create or modify outputs that are presented in any official SCA capacity is prohibited. So right off the bat, right up front, no generative AI in output that's presented for official SCA capacity. And then they spell that out. The use of generative AI for promotional and advertising purposes is expressly prohibited. The use of Gen AI for publications is prohibited. Art tools may be used to edit or modify existing non AI creations. So I think what they're probably saying there is something like if you use Photoshop and it has an automatic color correction tool and there's some AI behind the scenes on that, that's okay. You're not using it to create something that didn't exist. The next one, the use of Gen AI text tools to create or modify outputs is prohibited. Or sorry, I jumped ahead. That's not what it says. The use of Gen AI text tools to create or modify outputs is acceptable for the following uses. So here's where it's okay to use some. Summarizing documents or meeting notes. That makes sense. I mean, I've recorded my meeting. Tell me what happened. Great. Ironically, I hear my Alexa in the other room responding to me now. Number two, it's okay to use Gen AI text to edit, proofread, or reformat existing content. So I've written something. Can you check the grammar, please? Yeah, I can use Grammarly. Great. Number three, it's okay to use it to create content outlines and templates. Again, not a bad idea. I've got a bunch of stuff. Can you organize it into a template for me? Super. Then the third thing it says, use of Gen AI for volunteer or employee work product is permitted unless expressly prohibited in other documents. So I don't really know what that means.
I
I'm
think it
sure they
means
do.
it probably means internally. So if you're
Yeah, I don't think they're
putting
saying that
together
you
a
can use it.
schedule or you want to send out an email to the staff, stuff like that.
Yeah. I think they're trying to basically say we're not trying to keep you from using your computer. There's a lot of stuff in there. We just don't create an image that didn't exist before. Don't write words that didn't exist before. Then they get into a section called responsible use. The unauthorized use, reproduction, or misrepresentation of another person's work as one's own is strictly prohibited. So it says actually of another person or source's use. So what they're saying is number one, don't plagiarize, which already was a thing. But number two, don't take something that Gen AI made and pretend you made it.
Okay.
I saw a guy doing this on the forum the other day. He came in and he's like, "Hey, here's my new art. It's ink on parchment." And then Facebook flagged it as, "Hey, generated AI image."
Oh wow.
He was trying to hide behind the fact that he's like, well, I've been an artist for 40 years. Yeah, buddy, but you didn't make that. So this would have been prohibited. Claiming something that you made something when you didn't. Uh, then the next one says there must be proper attribution when referencing or incorporating the work of others. including written, artistic, and research materials. This includes stating when AI is used and the platform that is used. So I think what they're saying here is that if you are relying on something you found somewhere else and that other person used Gen AI, okay, but you've got to point out that that's what's going on.
Mhm.
And then C, enforcement. So finally, what are they going to do about it? So number one, violations of this policy can result in removal of works from display or publication, removal from office in the SCA, or other disciplinary actions as determined by the appropriate SCA officers.
Three whacks
That,
with a sword.
yes. Violations of this policy may be reported within the appropriate area of responsibility. Society officers may issue additional guidance, and exceptions and exclusions may be granted in writing by the society president. So, I think this is one of the better policies that I've seen written in public for any group. And I think this is a pretty decent model to rely on if you yourself are part of a group or you're in a company or just you run a subreddit and people are asking you, what can we do? What can we not do? Because this technology is out there. Look at the SCA's policy. I think if you don't have one of your own, take theirs.
I keep thinking of all the punishments. Like,
Do they
like,
have a rack they can put you on?
well, I mean, can you imagine? Okay, for the next Pensic War, you have to be the crier. You have to go around and make announcements all day long. It's like, oh God, damn.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the SCA, I don't know how many people. How many people must be in the SCA? If there's, oh, I found it. Never mind. I wrote this down. There are 30,000 paid official members globally, and 60,000 active participants, which includes the people who kind of show up like you did.
Yeah.
You're not paying your annual fee, but you went to the event and you paid for whatever.
Yeah, I was my brother. So you can go, or I don't know if it's still this way. It was this way in 1985. You can go with a paid member as their guest, but you still have to pay a fee to go into the event.
That sounds fair.
Yeah, and that's fair. So I think that's probably what they mean. They probably have 30,000 people who pay for their membership annually, and then and assume roughly on average they'll bring a guest with them.
Yeah. So that's great. I mean, it's a huge organization. Its roots are in what I think is some of the best of us, the nerds of the 60s. And this makes me want to participate more than ever. So looking forward to maybe actually getting into it and doing that. Great policy, guys. Very clearly stated. Doesn't get into anything other than what it has to. And I think it's a very responsible approach. So Good job, SCA.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up.
Let's wrap up. Okay, so dun dun dun. What is this?
This is the Analog Union.
Yes.
Which you oughta be subscribed to if you're not already. It's free. Can you afford that? It's free. The Analog Union. You go to analogunion.com. You put your email address in. You know it's safe because it's just us. It's just us and a bunch of other small publishers. We don't sell that list. We don't use it ourselves. We can't legally use it ourselves. We only can use it for the Analog Union and nothing else. What you get is every week an email newsletter shows up telling you what the companies who belong to the Analog Union are up to, what we're into, what is cool, what is lame. And not just us, but we have these people called the Friends of the Union who come in from time to time and we talk about what they're doing. So it's free. You can go on analogunion.com. You can see past newsletters. And in fact, in this week's newsletter, if I get the story written in time, we will be talking about our next Kickstarter, which is called More Blood, MOAR Blood. This is all Peter. And we can at least mention it now that people ought to be, you know what, subscribe to the Analog Union and look at that. There's some art on your phone.
On my phone. It's been my wallpaper as inspiration. That's from the cover.
Yeah, we have beautiful, beautiful art for the cover. So Yeah, sign up to analogunion.com and you'll hear about it, about more blood that's coming out soon.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
What else can they do if they are into us?
Well, they could go to our Patreon.
Oh, that would be a
Um,
good idea.
yeah, yeah. And now, our
Oh,
Patreon,
there's more blood right there on the Patreon.
there it is. There is our Patreon, or yeah, our Patreon is primarily for Top Secret at the moment because that's our flagship product. That's what we put the most stuff out about. So it's the stuff we can write to at this moment. It's going to expand as we're come. We've got a couple more properties that we're working on that aren't just Top Secret. So it'll cover those as well when that happens. But in the meantime, it's got a lot of Top Secret stuff, and but you're not limited to Top Secret. It can be really for any modern action thriller type game. Most of
Oh
this
yeah,
stuff is
go in here
written.
and get these things and use them in Triangle Agency if you want to. Use them
Yeah, yeah,
in Outgunned. Use them in Call of Cthulhu if you're playing that sort of an era. You
sure.
know.
We don't do anything supernatural yet, but you just throw the supernatural stuff on it. Like for
Yeah.
example, looking on the screen. If you're looking on the screen right now, there's one called World Book Albania. So I don't know how familiar you are with Albania or how familiar other people are with Albania, but if you wanted to run a game in it, do you want to go do a ton of research, or do you just want to like download this file where I've done a ton of research and put together what? It's not just facts about the country, okay? It's facts about the country in the filter of what would an action thriller adventurer need to know. What does a DM need to know to run, or GM or administrator in our case, need to know to run an adventure in this country? That's the information that's in it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, are you writing a novel or a screenplay and you just want to get a head start on it? Go there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just make sure if you're writing a novel or a screenplay or something, remember I put a lot of fictional stuff in here.
Right. We
Because
lied to you.
it's for a game, right? You see, there's a
Yes.
game involved here, so there's some stuff that's fictional. Um, so this month, just real quick, this month I'm about 75% done, I think. Um, I've got here's the four things I've got. So I've got Al Minhaj, and I wrote them up. They're a terrorist organization. I wrote them up because we've got a module coming out eventually called the Durand Line, which we will be talking more about later because we're
Yeah.
running some games for some folks who backed our
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
Yes, anybody who backed the Tradecraft manual, which I had one sitting around here. I was going to pull it out, but whatever. Oh, it's way over there under a stack. But anybody who backed the Tradecraft manual had the option of backing at a upper tier that involved getting a custom game run for them. So when we run that game, we're not just going to be running any top secret game. We're actually going to be running an upcoming module, which was written by Doug Niles, who is the creator of Top Secret SI, and is also being done in conjunction with Doug. Scott Congable is working on it as well. So you'll get a chance, or not you will. You, if you're one of the people that already bought this. If you didn't buy it, you don't.
Right.
It's too late. Too late. It's over. But those people are getting a chance to play this for the very first time and give us feedback on it, and uh, have a chance to shape the final direction of it. And then everybody will get a chance to actually buy it and play it afterwards. And some of the stuff on Patreon will help you get there.
Yeah, yeah. So we needed a terrorist group for it. So I made up one. I did some digging, and I put a little twist on them. So it'll be cool when you see it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it out right now.
They
And
really
then,
love Dairy Queen is the
yeah,
twist. They're the blizzards that they're into.
and then
Oh, did I give it all away?
I don't know why you did that. I mean, they hold the thing upside down,
Fine.
and VX gas comes out. Anyway,
we'll switch it to ANW. It'll be fine.
right. The and then after I wrote that, because I wanted to write it for Scott, because Scott was writing to this, and he's like, "Hey, do we have a group?" And I was like, "I have an idea for when I'll write it up." So I did, and I sent it to him.
Beautiful.
I came up with another adventure to use those guys with that's different than the Duran line. So so that you're going to get that. It's not a full venture. It's not a full mission written out. It's like an outline of a mission. It's like 4 or 5 pages.
Yeah, but sometimes
And-
that's better.
Yeah.
Scott and I were talking about this on the Scott Congable, everybody. Scott and I were talking about this on the phone the other day because he's been writing adventures that are like 250 pages long, and he's like, "Am I giving people too many details?" And I'm like, "Well, on the other end of the spectrum, you've got Peter making something that's just an outline. So sometimes that's all a person really needs is just give me some starter points."
Yeah, and I basically and I break it down into acts, and I'm like, it's Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, no, I do 5 acts. Sorry, right? I do 5 acts for these, and it's basically this is what the enemy or the bad guys or whatever you want to call them. This is what they're going to do if you don't do anything. If you don't get involved, this is what they're
Yep.
going to do. And here's all the places that you can get involved and what you can do. And if you do, this is what happens. And that's it. And then the administrator does all the dot connecting.
Yeah. And yeah, that's funny because it's the thing that we've sort of learned over our time publishing Top Secret is it's so different writing an adventure for an espionage or an action thriller than it is doing a dungeon crawl. Because the fundamental difference is in a dungeon crawl, you're writing a place. I go from room to room, I kick in the door, I kill the monster, I get the stuff. That's the outline of my dungeon crawl. In an action movie or an espionage thriller, you're writing a time rather than a place. You're writing a schedule of events, like you said. If nothing else, if the players do nothing, these are the things that are going to happen. So you're really writing a schedule rather than a map.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And then so as I was writing the adventure for this, I was gonna do Italy this month because I want to do all the popular European because I'm like all I got left is Italy out of the major popular European countries. But the direction this was going, things just take you. Your creative forces take you places, right?
Sure.
So it took me to Belgium. So Belgium is the country I'm releasing this
In
month.
Bruges.
And I'm also going to release this martial arts beta rules that I've been kind of picking at over the last year.
Nice.
It's not the official, replacement or anything like that.
If you find stuff in Patreon, it doesn't mean it's official. It just means why don't you try this? And usually we're looking for some feedback.
Yeah,
how did it work for you? We've been hearing from people when they get into Top Secret for the first time, and they often are asking like, what do I do? It's so different from playing D&D. I'm not killing monsters. I'm doing spy. And so the Patreon, it's really a great place to start because there's a free tier you can go on and you can get all of these great materials for free. And some you have to pay for on the paid tier. And we would love you to be on the paid tier. But I would say if somebody's going, well, how do I get started? 2 things. Join the Facebook group, which is Top Secret RPG or something like that. And join the Patreon. Just join at the free tier. Get some stuff.
And then I can't remember. There's one of the fan groups.
There's a Top Secret RPG fan page on Facebook that we don't have anything to do with, but they're a great bunch of people, and they support and cover all the editions from the very first 1980 edition up through ours. It's a great place to get inspiration and ideas there too.
Well, they also upload files and stuff, so there's a lot of stuff you can get there too. There's like character sheets and stuff like that, fillable character sheets, all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. So check that stuff out. Anyway, that's it. Enough blah blah blah.
End of the week. Let's finish the show now.
All right, everybody.
Go away, everybody.